Coming up next, I'll look back at a WHA Phenom known as the Swedish Express who became the highest paid player in the NHL. But would he match those big expectations for him upon joining the more established league? Now, this is the story of one of my all-time favorite players, the epitome of class, grace, and courage, Winnipeg Jets and New York Rangers star Anders Hedberg.
Greshner for Duguay. Wide. Rebound. Score! Hedberg again.
Welcome to the Pro Hockey Alumni channel, where we celebrate the legends of hockey's golden era, 1966 to 1993. And if you, like me, eagerly awaited the arrival of the hockey news in your mailbox each week, this channel is for you. Now, this is the first in our series called Certified PHA Legends, where the contributions of pro hockey's iconic players and personalities are recognized in categories of skill and style, toughness and grit, color and personality, and building the game. Now, by 1969, Anders Hedberg had already twice claimed the title of Sweden's top junior player. And he was a fixture on their national team. Lightning quick Hedberg was a force to be reckoned with on the international stage. In the early 1970s, fate took a dramatic turn. Hedberg crossed paths with Dr. Jerry Wilson, who was a team physician for the Winnipeg Jets, and Bill Robinson, the Jets' chief scout. Both were already scouting talent for the Jets, and they saw something extraordinary in Hedberg and fellow countryman Ulf Nilsson. Now, both stars dreamed of skating on North American ice, and the Jets were ready to make that dream a reality. Now, the NHL Toronto Maple Leafs owned Hedberg's rights, but his loyalty to Swedish friends, Nilsson, the great Lars-Erik Schuberg, and Kurt Larson, led them all to sign with the WHA Jets in 1974. And this was a game-changing coup for the team and the new league. Hedberg, incidentally, received a contract valued at about $60,000 per year, and those numbers would certainly increase as the story moves along. Now, before Hedberg's arrival, the Jets franchise was struggling. Even their star, the legendary Bobby Hull, was losing his spark. But the Swedes ignited a fire that reignited Hull's passion and transformed the Jets into a freewheeling powerhouse. Now, the connection between Hull and the Swedes was breathtaking, as Anders notes in this 2016 interview.
When did you guys, realize that, this might be something pretty special?
First practice, absolutely. No question. We all knew it. It felt right through your bones and body that this will fit. It fitted from first line rush.
Greatest experience that I ever had, because if you remember, I played all over the ice. I may have lined up at left wing, but my dad said, Robert, that whole ice area is yours. Go to the open areas. So I was all over the place. But finally I got two kids that would change positions with me. When I'd come wheeling around from left to right, Anders Hedberg wouldn't stand there looking at me. He'd take off over on my side. And if I came close to Ulfie Nilsson, he'd wheel and go up the left side. And it was just a joy to play with them, because they were so adept at playing the game all over the ice. They had such a great attitude. You never had to get them up before every game. It was them getting everybody else up.
Now, Hedberg's impact was immediate and electrifying. 100 points in 65 games in his debut season to win the WHA Rookie of the Year award. Hull, for his part, he was rejuvenated, and he would score 77 goals, and the hotline became the talk of the league. But this success came at a painful price. The Swedes were targeted, hacked, cheap-shotted in every arena. The illegal stick work was so relentless, it led Bobby Hull to stage a one-game protest, as he notes in this 1976 interview.
There was a time, though, when you were said that the game had become dreary.
Well, possibly. I don't know. I think that could have been during times when a lot of these goons were running around taking shots at Anders and Ulfie and the rest of the guys that were putting money in their pockets. People sometimes have very short memories, and they don't realize that people come out to see guys like Ulf and Anders and Shu and the rest of the good hockey players in our club, and there wouldn't be a league, not likely, if it wasn't for guys like this. And
According to NHL veteran and eventual Jets teammate Ted Green, quote, "I'm not sure how Anders and Elf survived. They had to play through a lot of crap, and they had to have strength of character to do it without changing their game. A lot of Canadians would not have taken that abuse and played the way those guys did." And Bobby Hull later added, "I think Hedberg and Nilsson were the two toughest players I ever played with. At first, even their own teammates resented their presence, but that only fueled their determination."
When we found out that these guys were genuine guys, just like we were, getting an opportunity to play professional hockey away from their homeland, and once we got the thought of animosity because one of our buddies from Toronto or Winnipeg or wherever it might be was going to lose a job, once all that was over with, we pulled ourselves together and built a tremendous hockey team and tremendous organization.
The Jets, with Hedberg leading the charge, hit their stride in the 75-76 season. Anders recorded another 50-goal campaign and added 13 goals in 13 playoff games as the Jets swept Gordie Howe and the Houston Aeros to capture the WHA championship. On a personal note, the first time I saw the hotline was in 1976. Early that year, I got this edition of Hockey Pictorial, and that had the WHA schedule in there, and I circled January, actually it was January 30, 1976, for my birthday to have my father take me down to Hartford, Connecticut to see the Winnipeg Jets at the New England Whalers. And here's the program from that game, still have that. Well, it didn't take long for Anders to get my attention. He scored 48 seconds into the game. He'd score again in the third period. Bobby Hull had 3 goals, and needless to say, I was hooked on the hotline. Those guys were flying, playing at a whole different level with that European crisscrossing style. You could see that right away. It's quite exciting, and of course I was hooked on Hedberg and the Jets. In 1976-77, Hedberg reached the pinnacle of his personal achievements. He scored 70 goals, 51 of which were scored in the first 49 games. At that moment, he wasn't just considered to be the best player in the WHA. Many considered him to be the second best right wing in all of hockey, only to Montreal Canadiens' Guy Lafleur.
Gets it to Hedberg, takes a shot. Hedberg!
51 goals in 49 games for Anders Hedberg. A very exciting time, and Anders, from your reaction, very exciting for you too.
Yeah, I sure had a good feeling. The reception from the fans was, I never felt it before, I never happened to me before, and I certainly say thank you very much to all the fans, and I appreciate it very much.
After watching Hedberg play one night, Boston Bruins GM Harry Sinden famously said, "Hedberg playing in the WHA is like Secretariat running at the county fair." Well, I don't know about that, but what Sinden and the entire hockey world now noticed was Hedberg's blinding straightaway speed, his fearlessness in going to the net, and his unmatched ability to shoot the puck in stride. With his contract expiring at the end of the 1977-78 season, Hedberg had become disenchanted with the WHA, which had devolved into a brawling circus highlighted by the notorious Bad News Bulls of Birmingham.
Into the red line to Hedberg, busting over the line. Hedberg, shot, goal! Hedberg's goal. Briscoe at center ice with one of the Bulls. And there's another set of 2 with Bobby Hull and Frank Beaton, Oak Nilsson and Neil Hoganson. But the rest of them are standing around holding each other. And we'll see if they get Linsman. That's who started it all with a cheap shot pulling down Nilsson, skating up to center ice after the goal.
Hedberg and Nilsson now were free agents, and NHL teams were salivating. New York Rangers GM John Ferguson and team owner Sonny Werblin made them an offer they couldn't refuse. 4 years at $650,000 per year, a monumental jump from their WHA salaries. Now, for context, the highest paid players in the powerful 1977-78 Montreal Canadiens, Guy Lafleur and Ken Dryden, each earned about $180,000 each. Now, the new signings by the New York Rangers just shook the hockey world. It was huge news at the time. But before saying goodbye to Winnipeg, Hedberg and Nilsson led the Jets to the 1977-78 championship and what was considered to be the greatest team ever assembled in the World Hockey Association.
Now it's Nilsson at his own line for Winnipeg to Hedberg, down and across the New England line, puts on the brakes, back to the point. Kent Nilsson shot, right on,
1978-79, Hedberg quickly learned that the NHL would be a different beast and goals were going to be much harder to come by. The competition was fiercer, the defenders tougher. I mean, there were no Denny Potvins, Boyer Salmings, Brad Parks, Larry Robinson in the World Hockey Association. And without Bobby Hull in their wing, Hedberg and Nilsson found themselves in uncharted waters. Under coach Freddie the Fog Shiro, who was a big booster of Anders, but didn't have Anders in the first power play unit. Now, despite that, Anders led the team in scoring with 79 points, and he was selected to the mid-season Challenge Cup NHL All-Star team. And his two-way play, most importantly, was a key factor in the Rangers' unexpected march to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Vickers in front. Kachuk save. Rebound, miss. Rebound, score! Hedberg again. More tenacity in the hockey club.
The following year, Hedberg was named Rangers MVP, a testament to his excellent, superior all-around play. And on the international stage, he continued to shine, particularly in the 81-84 Canada Cup Series.
Now here comes Helander. Gainey got a piece of him. Hedberg chases the puck down at center, coming in with Nielsen. He scores! Sweden gets on the scoreboard. And he surprised Mike Liut with that shot. But
although he never approached his lofty WHA scoring levels, Hedberg was a consistent producer throughout his NHL career. In 1984-85, his final NHL season, he was getting injured. He didn't want to just hang on. He was awarded the Masterton Trophy to recognize his perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. But of course, his story didn't end there. Post-retirement, Hedberg became a successful executive with the New York Rangers, the Ottawa Senators, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And his legacy was cemented with inductions into the Manitoba Hockey Hall of Fame, the International Hockey Hall of Fame, the Swedish Hockey Hall of Fame, and in 2016, he reignited with Hull and Nilsson as the first inductees into the WINNIPEG Jets Hall of Fame. Just as I was wrapping up this video, I ran into Paul Stewart, who played against Anders in the WHA, and I guess he'd be considered to be the polar opposite of Anders when it came to hockey skills.
We're here with the great Paul Stewart, USA Hockey Hall of Famer, Cincinnati State or Quebec Nordique, and he's very familiar with the hotline Bobby Hull, Ulf Nilsson, and Anders Hedberg. We're talking today about Anders Hedberg. Paul, what are your memories of the Swedish Express?
Well, if you could catch him, you could hit him, but you couldn't catch him. Second of all, against Winnipeg, I got to play against Claxon a lot. He was their tough guy, not so much against Hedberg and Nielsen. But I did get to watch them, and after the game, they had a McDonald's, and it was the first time I ever saw a guy wear a pair of clogs, Anders Hedberg. Good guy, and he and Ulf and Bobby Hull certainly lit up the hockey world. Bobby Hull was the Moses that led us from the desert to the promised land.
In 2022, Hedberg revealed a new battle, and that was with cancer. The hockey world held its breath, but Anders assured everyone he was on the road to recovery, and he looks and sounds great. Grace, courage, class, skill, and unwavering determination. That's why Anders Hedberg is a certified pro hockey alumni legend. Now, what are your memories of Anders Hedberg? If you're a Ranger fan, were you a little disappointed that he wasn't scoring 50 or 60 goals in the NHL with the Rangers? Or are you happy with his great all-around play and his significant contributions to that team? And if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan and saw him in full flight with the hotline, what were those experiences like? Let's have a good discussion below in the comments section. So if you enjoyed this look back at the career of Anders Hedberg, check out this video of another certified PHA legend of hockey's golden era.